And joining me now, as promised, is Senator Jon Ossoff, a Democrat from Georgia who's running for re-election, is the father of a new baby. Congratulations on that as well. So I just played the clip of you saying what I think everybody was thinking, but you articulated it the best way. Did anyone actually expect Donald Trump to be an advocate for releasing Epstein files or any more information? What do you think? I just gave my take. What do you think is holding him back? What's behind it?
Well, they really tied themselves up into knots by making this such a centerpiece of their campaign. You know, the Attorney General was testifying before Congress just a couple of months ago that there were hundreds of thousands of files and there were all these tapes and they'd all be coming out. And now they've done this 180, which they can't explain. And the story doesn't add up. And like I said, I mean, would you really expect Donald Trump, given his past associations with Mr. Epstein and given his past record of misconduct, to be trying to put this out there? I don't know. But I think the deeper picture here is that it is yet another broken promise. And this is the same administration that has just defunded hospitals, clinics, nursing homes in order to cut taxes for the wealthy after running a populist campaign that was supposed to be about the interest of the working class. This is the same administration that promised to lower prices on day one. Prices are still rising. It's the same administration that promised to end these wars overseas. The wars are still raging. And so, you know, you're seeing a lot of disappointment and consternation among the president's base, not just because of this Epstein matter, but because this is an administration that is passing legislation to support the elite and the wealthy, and that is failing to make good on a whole lot of its commitments.
I just played a couple of clips of Democrats making this argument, which I agree is quite accurate, that they ran as the party of the anti-elite party. Trump ran as the anti-elite party. And now it seems he's exactly that. I mean, he's always exactly been that, but he's almost being caught by his own base. Do you think that's a good argument? You're actually out there on the campaign trail. You're running for re-election. Is that a good argument that people are identifying with?
Yeah, I mean, this guy's trying to rule the country from his golden palace in Florida and accepting, you know, flying palaces from foreign despots, which he intends to keep after his presidency. His son-in-law's taken $2 billion from the Saudi royal family. His two boys are flying all over the world, cutting deals and closing deals right before he touches down on state visits. He's got foreign billionaire oligarchs under federal investigation funneling tens of millions of dollars into his businesses while he sits in the White House and grants them audiences in exchange for that money. You know, and I would say to the president's supporters, go and fact check everything I just said. I mean, it's stunning, the depth of corruption and how the policy focus is entirely on the interests of the elite benefactors of his campaign and the GOP. And I think in Georgia, where we've lost nearly a dozen rural hospitals in the last 15 years, where health care shortages are widespread, where 70% of seniors in nursing homes depend upon Medicaid, you know, the rubber meets the road when you pass a multi-trillion-dollar budget and you throw working class and middle class families under the bus. It's a political disaster for them in Georgia, and it's a disaster for my constituents' health and well-being.
What do you make? I just played this clip, or I just talked about this clip of Senator Josh Hawley, who basically said, I mean, he started to walk back from his support for the bill within a week of voting for the bill. Now he says he wants to propose legislation that would kind of halt some of the Medicaid cuts. What do you make of that? What does that tell you?
Look, he was making all this noise about opposing these Medicaid cuts, and then, like most of them, rolled over under pressure because they live in fear of the White House. They live in fear of retaliation from the president, as Senator Lisa Murkowski has said publicly. But Senator Tillis stood there on the Senate floor and he admonished his Republican colleagues. He said, look, 600,000 plus North Carolinians are going to get thrown off Medicaid if you pass this bill. The president's breaking his promises on Medicaid. He did something courageous, and they ran him right out of the Republican Party for it. No Georgia Republicans in Congress had the courage to stand up for the health and welfare of my constituents, our constituents in Georgia. They put loyalty to Trump over loyalty to our state. Those are some of the same folks who want to run for this U.S. Senate seat. And by the way, I need help from folks across the country to defend this U.S. Senate seat, and they can help at electjon or electjon.com.
It was very smooth. I did want to ask you another question about your Senate run. You did a rally where the reception, I can just describe, I've been around politics a long time, is much closer to weeks before an election. It felt to me, watching the video, than as far out as we are. What are you hearing most from people? I mean, one of the challenges with this big, ugly bill, as I like to call it, is a lot of people didn't know a lot about it, which is an opportunity in its own way. Do people know about it? What are you hearing most about their concerns as you're traveling around Georgia?
I've never seen opposition energy like this before. And folks remember my story, right? I ran in that 2017 special election in Georgia, the first big race of the Trump era, and then Senator Warnock and I were elected together in those historic doubleheader overtime runoffs in 2021. Really high energy moments. I've never seen it like this before. Thousands of people are coming out to events that I'm hosting a year and a half before the election. And it's not me. It's the moment. It's the fact that our republic is in peril. This administration is looting the country on behalf of its donors. The level of corruption is something unprecedented in American history, and people are ready to take action.
Senator Jon Ossoff, thank you so much for joining me. I know you're busy and you're barely sleeping.
We have a vote in just a second, but I wanted to come see you.
I'm grateful for you stopping by. We're just across the street, so thank you for stopping by.
Thanks so much.
Congratulations on the new addition to your family.
Thank you.